case taking is about understanding the patient and all of us. And I am also guilty of this. So no, I don't think anybody who says that they have not gone through this or they don't face this hazard day in and day out in their practice, I don't think they're being honest. So sometimes we are so desperate that we want to find a remedy, and we make the whole case taking centric to find the remedy for the patient. And that's where we go wrong. The best cases, the success stories that I have or Prajakta has is when we are easy with our case taking, when we are not desperate to find the remedy. The remedy reveals itself. It may sound philosophical, it may sound, very mystical, but it is true. And I've learned this through practice. When I'm very, very focused to find a remedy, I often miss it out. When I just let it be, when I enjoy the process, I be present, I'm actually providing a open ear, like being present, being available to him or her in that moment, the patient does well. He's able to understand, he's able to open up. It's so much better. Another thing is, we often get distracted during our case taking. So, we have WhatsApp web now. So we have WhatsApp messages coming in. You have another patient in the waiting area. Somebody is pinging you. I think it is important that you make case taking as a very, very sacred space. If you're able to make your case taking a very, very sacred space, it is going to shift a lot of things in your practice. Not just for your patient, but for yourself, for your own mental and physical peace. Your personality, your inner core starts changing. And I'm being very, very honest. So give yourself this space at this 1 hour, this 30 minutes, this 2 hours I've dedicated to this patient. And I'm going to be whole, and I'm going to be present, and I'm going to be honest to this time. This commitment, you should take an oath before you start the case. Another idea is during the case taking, what happens? You start interpreting, or you start putting up, rubrics in the repertory sheet. I think we should try and avoid it as far as possible. Sometimes to take real-time rubrics, something very peculiar comes up, very, very peculiar, like that hot cup of chai and it burns your tongue. If something comes up, it's a good idea to put in the repertory, because then it will narrow down your search. But as a general thumb of rule, avoid doing that. Avoid. They say, try and be unbiased in whatever human way you can be. I think it's going to help. Whatever little you can, whatever little is more. So whatever you do is enough. The more is more. Whatever little you can do to improve this is better. Another is, one is understanding the patient, and another is, I think he said that. I think he meant this way. No. That is not what you need to do in case taking or case analysis. What the patient said, exactly that. You understand that. Don't interpret, don't think. And keep asking until you completely understand. And if you're genuine, if you're genuinely taking interest in the patient's story, in what the patient is telling you, they reciprocate. If you're not being honest, or if you're just collecting for the heck, if you're doing a mechanical job, they will get irritated. They will say, ek hi question, how many times you're going to ask? The same question this doctor is asking me again and again. Is he or she mad? They can get irritated and annoyed, which itself could be a rubric. But what I'm trying to say is, if you put your genuineness in it, most of the patients cooperate, and they will cooperate with your case taking technique. You can even be honest to them that this is the key step. If you help me here, you support the tailor who's taking, if you go for a custom made suit, the tailor will take all sorts of measurements, arms and wrist and all sorts of, you cooperate, right? Similarly, this is, if I have to make a tailor-made solution for you, this is what I need from you, and please cooperate. And mostly they do. So The idea is to find the most characteristic symptom. Now, whether it's a local symptom, it's a general symptom, it's a mental symptom, doesn't matter. This is an example which Dr. Sankaran gives very often. He says that you have to find the center of the patient. You have to find the center of the room. Now, whether you find the center of the room from the window 1, from the window 2, from window 3, window 4, doesn't matter. Or you just open the door, doesn't matter. From every angle you look, you're going to look at the same center if you look hard enough. And if you zoom in and focus, complete it, make a complete totality, you can find the most characteristic symptom anywhere. So I will do a quick time check to see, okay, we have some time. So I'm going to introduce you to the idea of levels in case taking. Yeah. So while Dr. Sankaran developed this idea, he kind of categorized and, he gave us a path that these are the 7 levels. I also want to tell you that this is not necessarily true for only sensation method practitioners. So I'm not talking about a method. I'm talking to you about a process. I'm trying to give you tools that can help you in case taking. Whether you are following X method or Z method, does not matter. Yeah. So the 7 levels are, you start from the name, fact, feeling, imagination, sensation, energy, and witness, or the 7th level. So the idea is, as you go from top to bottom, you are starting like this and you're going down a funnel. So you're kind of going round and round, and you're trying to hit the very center. So you go down the level to the very, very core or central part of the patient.